would like to welcome you to Inspire to Rewire, the podcast that invites you to question everything, to challenge the status quo and rediscover the power within you, to create the life that you truly deserve. My name is Sharona Sinvani, and in each episode, we dive into transformative conversations that will inspire you to break free from old patterns, expand your mindset, and unlock your limitless potential. Everything from unveiling the hidden truth about society to exploring new perspectives. This podcast is your gateway to living life on your own terms. So whether you're looking to elevate your career, heal from past wounds, broaden your outlook, or transform your mindset, this is the space where growth happens. If you're ready to embrace change and step into your power and become the best version of yourself, I invite you to join me on Inspire to Rewire. Hi to all the lovely and beautiful souls out there that is joining me for another episode of Inspire to Rewire. I am so grateful that you are here right now in this moment. It actually means the world to me that you are taking this time out of your day to tune out and tune in. I want to talk about something today that I think that we are all yearning deeply for from within, which is freedom. But I don't want to talk about the freedom that the outside world often talks about. Not the freedom that, from rules and responsibility. I want to talk about true freedom. The one that begins and starts within. That freedom that sets your soul free. And by doing so, it actually changes the entire course of your life. So how about we take this journey together? I want to start with asking you this question. Do you seek freedom? Because I do. And I have for years. And you know what? The more I've come to realize that the only place to find freedom is actually within. Once you free your mind, you will set yourself free. I have no doubt about it. I have walked this journey on my own or by myself. And the more freer I become, the more liberated, the more freer I want to become. There is levels to everything in life. And the more deeper you go with things, the deeper you want to go, because it just liberates you in so many ways and aspects you couldn't even bear to imagine. I think we have all been conditioned to think that we must change things in the external world, like a new job or a new partner, or maybe more money or a new body. I think that we think that once these things is given to us, we'll have freedom or we will have happiness. So we actually go on and chasing them, or we chase them our entire life, hoping that once we get them, everything will magically fall into place. But the actual truth is that the real shift, the real transformation, it actually starts within you. As within, so without. What we see in our external world is simply a reflection of our internal world. I know that I have said this before, and there are certain things I just keep repeating because I know that the more I repeat them, the more they're going to become your norm. And neurons that fire together, they wire, it becomes a new thought pattern. So pardon my way of being repetitive in certain ways, but I know it's good for you because it's been good for me too, or it is good for me too. When we begin to understand that our internal world is a reflection of our external world, I think we stop trying to force change on the external or the outside world. And we actually start to understand that we need to start creating transformation within our hearts and within our minds. I know that is where true freedom actually begins. Because I've walked this journey on my own, and nothing outside of me can free me if I'm not free inside of me. My mind and my heart has been, the most interesting path to understand and to see all of the patterns and ways or self-mechanism of protection and walls that I have built up. And the more I have understood myself and my internal world, the more I could see how my external world was a reflection of what was going on inside of me. And I still do that to this day. I keep on learning about myself. I think the more you heal and the more you transform, you actually become a seeker of life. You learn how to appreciate the moment of now, and you practice being more present and aware. But you also seek more, because the more you step into who you truly are and the more you free yourself from certain things, the more you want to go into that journey, the deeper you want to go. It's a liberating transformation that words are not big enough for me to describe it for you unless you walk that path for yourself and you feel all of these things. I'm not going to say it's not going to be uncomfortable or challenging or confusing and just weird sometimes, but it's so worth it. I wouldn't turn back time. I would do it all over again. It has been, I recommend it for all. I think that this is the way we change the world, by changing ourselves. So when you stop looking for freedom in your external world and stop seeking external validation and actually start tuning into the deep wisdom that you have within you, let me tell you, it's going to be a game changer. You are everything you've been seeking for. You are the change you want in every aspect of your life. It's you. You are the answer to it all. I know that all of us are just out here trying to make sense of life, and we are walking each other home, but we're all on different paths and different stages of remembering who we truly are. And the deeper you go within yourself, I think the more you start questioning everything. And the more you understand that you actually know nothing. And you're going to begin to ask yourself questions like, what am I doing here? What is the truth I've been told? Is this really all there is? You're going to start asking yourself questions, and you're going to ask these questions from different levels that you're going to reach within yourself. And the process of questioning is a very, very powerful thing. But let me be real with you. All of these questionings that happens at different phases of your life can feel very disorienting and confusing at times. And sometimes even a little bit scary. Because when you actually begin to awaken, what once felt so familiar no longer fits. Because when you begin to awaken, what once felt so familiar actually no longer fits. And who you thought you were actually begins to dissolve. Your whole identity starts to change. And in those moments of unraveling, we actually seek guidance. We look for teachers or coaches or mentors. We listen to podcasts. We read books. Anything that can give us some clarity in the chaos that we are in. But here is also where it can get a little bit tricky. Because you can hear one person say, this is the way. And then you hear another person who will say, no, this is the way. And sometimes, maybe more often than not, you suddenly feel more confused. You feel more lost than when you actually started. But the truth is that, and I want to remind you of this, that Not everything that everyone has to say will resonate with you. And that is very okay. You are not meant to follow every voice you hear. You're meant to remember your own. That's the whole point of this journey. You will resonate with what aligns with you and the vibration that you are at that moment. And that's okay. You are on your own journey. You are on your own timeline. And as your vibration starts to shift, when your frequency rises, you will start to align with new truth. And you will gently detach from old ones. And the more you go on this journey, the easier things will become. You will not be so attached to things as you were in the beginning of it. Things will become much easier. I think that that's one of the beauties of this journey. It's the evolution of it. I know that sometimes it feels like you are becoming a stranger towards yourself. You're losing a big part of your identity or who you once thought that you were. But in reality, you're actually just meeting the version of you who's been waiting on the other side of your fears or old habits or programs or whatever it might be. The version of you who is already free lives inside of you. You just need to remove all of these layers and peel some skin that no longer belongs to you. So what do you do when nothing feels in alignment anymore? When a belief or a teaching or even a version of yourself actually starts to crumble? Don't panic. You don't panic. You just observe it. Don't judge it. Be very nice towards yourself and just nurture it. And be compassionate and be empathic and loving towards yourself. And question it. You challenge it. You challenge even what I say. Challenge everything. Question everything. Once again, I want to remind you, this is about finding your own voice. Unraveling your true self. Becoming who you were meant to be. Who you are deep down inside of you. Becoming that version of you. I am just here to offer you my perspective. But at the end of the day, I want you to remember that your path is your path. And no one, not even me, not a teacher, not a system, can actually walk it for you. Only you can. So take what resonates with you and just leave the rest. Allow yourself to change. And do it often. And do it boldly. Because the version of you today, that version of you will not be the same version a year from now. If you keep doing the work. I remember I saw this thing on Instagram. This was a long time ago, but it resonated so deeply in me. And it said something in line with, if you knew me based on who I was a year ago, let me reintroduce myself. It's like, oh my God, this hit home. And I remember in the beginning of my own journey when I started to heal and, get to know myself and discover who I truly am or what version of me that is, urging to come out. The more I understood, I remember the first year I had changed so much and I wasn't the same version of myself anymore. I couldn't even identify with my old version. And I thought to myself, I had so much love for myself that I didn't even knew was possible. I knew different parts of me. My perspective or my vision of life has changed in so many different ways and aspects. I saw this thing on Instagram, I read it, and I was thinking to myself, it can't get much better than this. I've changed, I've grown, man, it's been a good year. It's been hard, but it's been a good year. I'm proud over where I am now. And then another year goes on and you stand there at the end of that year and be like, yo, I'm not even the same person as I was back then. Let me rephrase that. My foundation is the same, but, a lot of things that is no longer me, just falls off. I become more of who I truly came here to be. You lose a lot of identities that it wasn't my identities. It was things that had been put onto me from society and parents and friends and, things I thought I needed to be or who I needed to be for people. And all of that just slowly just went into the trash more and more. And I became more me. And I love me. And I want you to love you too. That's truly what this life is about, learning to love yourself. Because once you love yourself, you become a very free person. And no one can ever take that love away from you. Never. None of us that are here are meant to stay the same. Growth and evolution and change are actually natural parts of the process. We are all here to experience. But the thing is that when we grow, and I know I've mentioned this before too, it sometimes can make other people feel very uncomfortable because people expect us to stay the same. Because our growth might actually challenge their idea of who they should be. But here's what I want you to know. Magic lives in the unknown. Magic happens when you step into the unfamiliar, when you break free from patterns that used to define you, and when you trust your own inner compass. Even if it feels like you're walking in the dark, trust that the light will guide you. Your own light will guide you in the darkest rooms, in the darkest places. You are light. You are the light that you seek. There is so much power in believing in yourself. And when you understand who you truly are, beneath all the noise and distractions, that's when magic takes place. And that's when magic happens. Because once you truly see yourself for who you are, the divine creative force that you are, you can make anything happen. You are the architect of your life. You are the creator of it. And when you remember that you are the creator, that you are a divine intelligence in human form, that's when everything shifts. And once you know that, you have to move like it. Your habits will actually become more sacred, and your daily patterns are going to turn into daily prayers. Because what you do frequently becomes your frequency. Your habits shapes your lifestyle. If you want to elevate your reality, elevate your thoughts and your actions. Because you are literally not the sum of your past. You are the sum of your present choices that happens in the moment of now. Every thought you think, every action you take is actually creating your future. And you get to choose. You get to decide. I think that that's so exciting. Here's the thing that I've learned along the way. I've learned to trust the quiet voice inside me that is actually within. I trust those subtle nudges from my soul. I know that my body speaks to me. I think that we all just need to tune in and listen to how it feels. Tune in towards yourself, and get to know your own presence, within you. Pay attention to what your spirit tells you when something feels off, when certain behaviors show up around you. The more you can be aware of things around you and within you, the more you will be able to understand everything that goes on around you and within you. And you will be able to choose what you want to entertain or water versus what you want to remove. And that is where freedom begins, by deciding your own life, creating your own life. So if you've been feeling lost or confused or even disconnected lately, let me offer you this thought. Maybe you're not lost at all. Maybe you're just shedding old versions of yourself. Maybe you're not breaking down. Maybe you're actually breaking through. And maybe, just maybe, you're actually finally returning home to the truth of who you are. You're in the process of becoming. We all are. We are all here to learn. And there's a great awakening happening across the globe, which is a beautiful thing. And you are not meant to fit in. You are here to remember your own wholeness and who you are. You're here to remember your own worth. To remember that freedom is your birthright. And it actually all starts in the space between your own thoughts. You are so much more than you think that you are. And you are so much more than what the world has led you to believe. We are all just here to become the best versions of ourselves for ourselves. You know, once you change the way that you live on an individual level, you actually change the whole collective. We are all part of the whole. And you deserve freedom just as everyone else does on this planet. We all do. We live in a very outdated system and in so many outdated beliefs and programs and indoctrinations that no longer serves us or should belong to us. And we all have to do the inner work within to become free as individuals, and that's how we free the world. We are all a part of it. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and I wish you freedom. I wish you freedom from within, because once you have freedom from within, everything in your external world, you know, that's not going to become a thing you strive for to reach happiness or freedom, because no matter where you are on your journey or your path in your life, whatever phase you are in, you're going to become free from within, or you are free from within. And that feeling is a liberation, and it's levels to it. It's even levels to it. So, you know, things get better and better and better. Mark my words. I have, you know, walked this path for some years now, and it has helped me grow into a version I couldn't even bear to imagine some years ago. I would never have guessed that I am where I am today. It was many moments of surrendering to the process and trusting and just letting go of control. I wish you all the same. Letting go of control, becoming more free, and truly, you know, learning how to enjoy life, enjoy the moments that is presented to you on a daily basis, and just be a student of life and be present within what the life is trying to teach you, so life can become easier for you. I know that a lot of us are struggling with a lot of challenges that we are facing in different situations and even within. And the only way for you to face that challenge or is to learn from that challenge. You know, that's the only way for that challenge not to show up at your door anymore. Is just free yourself from that. Learn from it so you can free yourself from it coming and knocking at your door again. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. As all of the support I get from all of you, my listeners, helps me to continue to grow this space with this podcast. I just want you to remember that everything that has happened to you in your life is not who you are. You are not your wounds. You can redefine yourself. You can re-identify yourself. You don't have to be anything except who you are. You just need to get to know yourself and give yourself the time and space to do that. I am 100% sure that there's a wonderful flower within you that is just waiting to bloom. And I would love for you to get to know that version of yourself. I see you and I honor you. And I'll see you next time on Inspired to Rewire. Namaste. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to this episode of Inspired to Rewire. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It truly helps us to reach more incredible listeners just like you. I have more listeners every month than I have subscribers, and having more subscribers helps me invest more time into creating content for this podcast. So if you haven't already, I'd be so grateful if you would subscribe to the channel. As many of you already know, I believe in an I&I unity, so let's come together and create a better world for all of us. Thank you for tuning in on another episode, and until next time, keep growing, keep evolving, and keep rewiring your mindset. Namaste.